Hey friends, I'm Barbara Sue Kowalski from Kowalski Mountain.
Hey guys, it's Kelsey here, your best friend on the Homestead from roughandtumblefarmhouse.com.
And today
we're
talking cows.
If you've been on my YouTube channel before, you know that we raise Jersey cows. Here's Juneberry here on our small farm. And I have a friend, Barbara Sue Kowalski. She is down in Kentucky and she raises Dexters on her farm. So I thought it would be really fun to do kind of a little comparison between our two farms. So if you're interested in Jersey cattle or having, a milk cow at home, this is going to be a really fun video for you to check out. I'm going to let Barbara Sue take us away.
Now here at Kowalski Mountain, my husband Philip and I have decided to raise Dexter cattle. Now they're commonly known as Irish Dexter cattle because they hail from the land of Ireland. Now these hardy cattle were built to withstand rugged, mountainous conditions, and their small size makes them perfect for those with small spaces. Now, for the same reasons that Dexters were popular in Ireland, we chose them here for our homestead as well. It was important that we had a hardy animal that could stand less than perfect pastures and that we could get the biggest bang for our buck.
Now, Jersey cows originated from the Isle of Jersey. It's between France and England, kind of by the English Channel over there. And they they really don't know kind of where the breed really came from before it was on the island, but they had a ban on other cattle coming in or even on semen imports. So that's why Jerseys are a really kind of pure breed where you get really a classic Jersey look. A classic Jersey look. And so for the most part, Jerseys, you're going to see kind of this fawn color with the dark eyes. They're just so pretty. They might have some white markings and things like that. But they've been in the United States since the 1850s. And interestingly, they were called Alderney, I think, cattle before they were called Jerseys.
Now when it comes to size, Dexters are the smallest breed of cattle. Now they're not a miniature. This is a full-size cow. Ellie is 3 years old. Now she measures right at under 45 inches, and she's our biggest cow. Now this is Prince, and he's our bull. Now Prince is going to be 3 years old this year. I'm just curious his height. He's right at 44 inches. Now you can see, while he's definitely a bull, and I try to give him the respect he deserves, he's gentle and easy to handle, and I don't worry about having a bull on my farm.
When it comes to size, Jerseys are definitely on the smaller end, but they're not going to be as small as those cute little Dexters. Juneberry here, she is on the larger side when it comes to milk cows. Oh, poor girl, the flies are just so awful out here this year. Oh, you coming up for some snuggles? Are you coming up for some snuggles? Here's a good girl. Juneberry is on the bigger side, definitely. They can kind of max out around 1,000 pounds, but they are a smaller cow in terms of the Homestead dairy. And you can also get mini Jerseys as well. If this size right here, well, here's me, I'm 5'7". So you can see comparatively how tall she is. But again, she is a little bit bigger as far as Jerseys go.
Now, Dexters thrive on a grass-fed diet. And even though our pastures are less than perfect, our cows are doing amazing right here on the grass and the hay that we provide them in the winter. Now we do give our cows grain. Our milk cows get grain when they're being milked, and all of our cows get about a half a scoop of grain a day just to keep them coming in, to let them know that in this bucket is the treats. Now the reason we do that it's because they do get out and I need them to come back. And a grain bucket always does the job.
When it comes to diet, Jersey cows, just like any cows, they're going to need a really good quality forage. She does really well, and my Jerseys have so far been really great on grass. I really don't supplement. Oh my goodness, love that sandpaper tongue. Really good on grass. We have just a really good high quality grass. Hay is kind of their primary bread and butter. Otherwise, they're out here grazing on pasture. I do supplement a little bit at meal times. Jerseys are going to eat about 30 to 40 pounds of forage every single day, which is about half as much as like your average Holstein. But definitely, again, not as little as probably those as those Dexters.
Now the thing about owning a Dexter milk cow is that while we still get plenty of milk, it's in a much more manageable amount. Now with Meg, I get just under a gallon every day while calf sharing. She's still feeding a 4-month-old calf. Now Ellie's calf has been weaned and we milk her twice a day. Now she is a very beefy Dexter and she is a lower producer, but she's really starting to shine. I'm getting about a gallon a day and 2 milkings a day, and her cream line is to die for.
When it comes to milk output, Jerseys are going to give definitely more than Dexters, but less than some other bigger breeds like a Brown Swiss or a Holstein or something like that. You can expect from a Homestead cow to get maybe around 4 gallons a day. That depends on if you are calf sharing or not. One thing that's awesome about Jerseys is they are known for having a super high, here, get Juneberry in the shot here. She's the important one here. Is their super high butter fat content. It's actually pretty much the highest butter fat content of all the dairy breeds. So if you're looking to make butter and you want a lot of good cream and that sort of thing, then Jerseys might be your girls.
Now Dexters are known for their docile and even temperaments, which I can definitely attest to. Now they're curious animals, they're fun, they all have personalities, but let me reassure you, they are still cows. Even though they're small, they still weigh between 800 and 1,000 pounds. They are still a large animal, and when they get a little attitude, which they do, they can be a handful. But if you've never had cows before, Dexters are a great addition to your homestead.
Now, when it comes to kind of their personality and temperament, they're known for being pretty sweet and personable cows. But just like any animal, you have to spend time with them, kind of gentling them and training them in. They can be certainly pretty sassy. Juneberry certainly has a sassy streak. Though right now she looks just like a great big puppy dog, but that's just because of all the time I've spent with her. Back there you can see that is her heifer from last year, who has been, you can see she's got kind of like a weird orange thing on her nose. That I have another video about that I can link you to. She is right now wearing a weaning halter to make sure she isn't nursing on her mom anymore, because she's plenty big and has been trying to sneak some sips of milk, and we don't want that anymore. So that is a pain-free weaning halter she has on, if you notice that back there. The one thing to note is that male Jerseys, steers are fine, but if you have Jersey bulls, they are really known for being kind of one of the more aggressive and dangerous bulls, actually. So if you're looking to keep a bull on property, that might be kind of a negative about Jerseys, as the bulls are really dangerous.
Now, one of our favorite things about the Dexter cattle here on our farm is they're the perfect fit for our farm. While they do give less milk, it's more than enough for our family size. And while they do raise out to less beef, it's also a more manageable portion. If you've ever bought meat in bulk, you might have found that a whole cow was way too much meat for your family and a really big expense. But when you pare that down to half a cow, you miss out on the cuts that you would get if you bought a whole cow. The Dexter gives us the best of both worlds.
Now, personally, my favorite thing about Jerseys, I mean, aside from the fact that they're just pretty a sweet breed in general, is just the way they look. They are so unbelievably beautiful. They look like kind of like deer. I've had people mistake our Jersey calves for fawns before, because they're such a pretty color. They've got those big, beautiful eyes and these big, dark eyelashes. They're just a really, really beautiful breed of cow. So that's probably my favorite thing about Jerseys.
Now, our Dexters are a true multi-purpose breed. Not only can we milk our cows, we can also grow beautiful beef. Now, Dexters grow out in a little bit longer of a time frame, taking 26 to 28 months. But Dexter beef is known around the world by chefs for its good marbling and great texture. Not only can we do all that, Dexter can be trained as oxen for a true multi-purpose cow.
Jerseys can absolutely also be a multi-purpose animal. They can also be for beef. They're going to be on the smaller side for sure. So we have processed our Jersey steers when they are about 18 months old. And from them, the amount of meat we get is like the equivalent of getting a half of a full-size beef animal. So you're going to get less meat, but the meat is typically, as long as you raise the animal right, incredibly tender, super delicious. From our steer that we had, or the steers that we have processed, they have never been gamey or anything. They're really delicious, really good cuts of meat. Although some of your steaks are going to be a lot smaller because they are just a smaller animal. So you can finish them out longer, but also if you just kind of want to be done feeding them over winter, around 18 months is a great time to process.
Dexters are excellent mothers. Now, my mamas always go through a little bit of momzilla when they first have their babies. Now, here on our rural homestead, we want our cows to protect their babies, but they're gentle enough that we can do the things that we need to do to take care of our cows. Now, one of the great things about having all-purpose cattle versus a dairy cow, that Dexters are not prone to some of the ailments that you might see with some of your dairy cows. All of our cows have birthed without assistance and without any problems, and none of the milking ailments that are common to dairy cows.
Now, when it comes to being mothers, Jerseys are actually really great moms. I've had Jersey cows before that have been such good moms that they steal other calves from each other. Juneberry, she definitely, her first grandbaby from her first, I think her first heifer that she had, when that heifer had a calf, she was constantly trying to steal that baby and feed it herself. Her mother, Bee, would take any calf you gave her. Such great moms. They also typically don't usually have a lot of calving problems. My vet, who I've chatted with before, he said that Holsteins tend to have more problems because they're bigger and there's kind of more room for things to get kind of, discombobulated, versus Jerseys, since they're a smaller, more compact animal. He says rarely does he see like positioning issues or problems with that with calving. The biggest thing he says it's an issue with Jerseys because of that high butterfat content. Sorry, mosquitoes are terrible. Because of that high butterfat content is that there is a bigger risk for milk fever that you see with Jerseys as opposed to some other breeds.
Now, if Kelsey and I have both sold you on the merits of our favorite cows, if you take a Jersey and you breed it with a Dexter, you get what they call a Belfair. And some people think that's the best of both worlds.
Okay, so there it is, sort of the short and sweet and simple comparison, beautiful Jerseys with the Dexters. If you haven't checked out Barbara Sue's channel before at Kowalski Mountain, make sure you check her out. I will link her below in the description box. I'm also going to link some other videos, just kind of more about Jersey cows here if you're interested, some other information about kind of having cows on the homestead. And if you are very interested in homestead cows, make sure you check out my podcast, the Family Milk Cow Podcast. I have tons of great episodes there with all sorts of resources for small farmers and homesteaders that just have a couple of cows. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you here next week for more from our Rough and Tumble farmhouse.